Fender Player Plus Jazz Bass 5. Before I unbox this bass, I want to talk about the economics of the musical instrument business. When I was young, there was a thing called the manufacturer's list price. Realistically, that was the highest price anyone could get away with selling an instrument for, but no stores actually charged that much. It was their way of making it seem like you were getting a deal. At the time, you couldn't buy straight from the manufacturer. You'd buy from your local dealer, either from their available stock, or they could special order the instrument for you. There were also catalog mail order companies. Man, I used to love poring over those catalogs. They've been replaced by online retailers, but many of them are still around, like American Musical Supply, where I bought my first bass in high school in 1991. Of course, for at least 20 years now, it's been online, and many manufacturers like Fender also sell direct on their websites. List prices are mostly a thing of the past. Fender doesn't publish ludicrously inflated, suggested prices. They sell direct for the same prices as the retailers, like Sweetwater or Guitar Center, and when there's a sale, it seems to be universal. Take this bass I just bought, for instance. It normally sells for $11.49, but Fender and every other retailer currently has the entire Player Plus line on sale for $100 off. As I record this, pretty much anywhere you look online is selling this bass for $10.49. I bought the bass from Sweetwater, which is my go-to music retailer these days. Sweetwater listed the bass with a special offer you could click on to unlock an additional discount of 10%. So I actually got it for $944, plus tax, of course. That seems like a great deal, and I think it is, especially since the bass comes with a deluxe gig bag that would normally cost at least $100. But it got me thinking, how much does Sweetwater actually pay Fender wholesale for these instruments? I mean, they must still be making a profit, even at $944. But how much of a profit? Sweetwater does a couple of unique things with all of their guitars and basses over $300. Those instruments are famously put through a 55-point inspection. They're also given a professional photo shoot. Customers can look at each individual instrument up for sale in a set of close-up photos and pick the exact instrument they want. It's a clever idea and very appealing as a customer, but it costs money for Sweetwater to have its employees do this. Don't get me wrong, I know the inspection is cursory, and it's just an inspection, not a setup. It probably takes at most 5 minutes per instrument. Also, I'm a web developer, so I know a bit about how the photo shoots probably work. They've got a dedicated photo studio for this, so there's absolutely no setup and teardown time. They just plop the instrument on a stand and snap their predefined set of photos. They probably even already have multiple cameras in the exact positions, since every photo shoot has the exact same angles and zoom levels on all of the photos. And everything is automated between the computers the cameras are connected to their point of sale system, to the website. They just need to key in the serial number of the instrument they're photographing, and the software takes care of linking those photos to the correct instrument in inventory. The whole process probably takes less time than it just took me to explain it. But it still takes time, and I assume the people doing this work make at least, and I hope I'm lowballing here, $20 an hour. Plus there's unpacking and repacking the instrument, transporting it around the warehouse, picking and packing for shipment once it's been ordered, etc. Let's assume a half hour of labor total per instrument. That's $10 shaved off their profit margin, knocking the effective price down to $934. Oh, but let's not forget shipping costs. Sweetwater normally offers free ground shipping. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to ship an instrument via UPS or FedEx, but for one-offs as a regular customer, it's generally in the range of $50 to $100, depending on the weight and size of the box. Sweetwater also famously double boxes everything. Their special foam padding is super light, but their boxes are huge. Of course, Sweetwater does massive business with both UPS and especially with FedEx. I avoid FedEx ground because I've had a ton of bad experiences with them, but I suspect Sweetwater has an extra special arrangement with them given how much they push FedEx as their preferred shipper. Anyway, free shipping. I have to assume then that Sweetwater is probably only paying $20 or $30 per instrument to ship. Since I was buying this right before Christmas, Sweetwater was even offering a special deal on 2-day air shipping for only $9.95. I'm not sure how much that would normally cost, but I think it's safe to assume it would be at least $50. Let's assume regular ground shipping and guess $25 at Sweetwater's cost. With the $10 I already took off, that knocks Sweetwater's effective selling price on this instrument down to $909. There are other operating costs I didn't get into. My interactions with my sales rep, hi Ted, are pretty brief and minimal, and he doesn't actually have to do anything when I order online, but he's still getting paid. Aside from the other staff I already mentioned, the inspector, photographer, and warehouse staff. There's additional office staff to pay, plus operating costs like utilities, property, whether they're leasing or if they own, paying property taxes, maintenance, etc. It costs a lot of money to run a business, no matter how much you streamline. Let's assume at least $10 per instrument goes to operating expenses. Now we're down to $8.99 on this instrument. So what is the wholesale price, and how much profit does Sweetwater make on an instrument like this? It's safe to say that at regular price, they're almost certainly making a few $100s per unit. But with their various marketing strategies and the volume they're dealing with, they seem to be willing to sell some gear at or maybe even below cost. Taking this line of thinking a step further, how much profit does Fender make on wholesale? They've got most of the same costs as Sweetwater for things like shipping, warehousing, and general operations. Plus, they're also making the thing, sourcing parts, preparing wood, assembly, and quality control? My general assumption has long been that the street price of an instrument is roughly double the manufacturer's actual production cost, and the markup gets split about equally between them and the retailer, with the retailer having some freedom to sell for less. Anyway, if we assume Fender's actual cost for the product is half of its regular price, and the wholesale price is 50% above that, then for this bass plus gig bag, the production cost would be about $575, and the wholesale price would be $862. At that price, even with the expenses I previously estimated, Sweetwater would still make a small profit on this bass of $36. If anyone out there knows for sure, let me know in the comments. And now finally, let's unbox this thing. Oh, but first I want to mention a couple of gigs my band 32nd Street Jazz has coming up for those in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. First, on Saturday, January 11th, we're playing my arrangement of John Coltrane's A Love Supreme in its entirety as the guest artists at the Shakopee High School Winter Jazz Concert. Then, a week later, on Saturday, January 18th, we're playing the early evening jazz set at Berlin in the North Loop. This is our first time playing Berlin, which I would say is one of the top 3 jazz venues in the area. For that show, we're doing a Herbie Hancock tribute, hence the t-shirt. The Adam Meckler Quintet is playing after us, so if you happen to be going to see them, why not come a bit earlier and check out our set? Alright, now on to the unboxing. Sorry for the bad sound here. I wouldn't say sharp frets. I mean, they're not sprouting at all. They're maybe a little bit not as polished as they could be, but nice rounded fretboard edges. Nice satin finish on the neck. Very interesting color. I haven't seen Fiesta Red in person before. Looks good. Definitely not tuned up. Initial impressions are all positive. Good setup, good intonation. Even the low B string has pretty decent definition, which is kind of a notorious issue on Fender 5 strings. So yes, I think Fender's quality control is back. I don't know if it has anything to do with them saying made in Ensenada instead of made in Mexico. That's kind of unusual, but yeah, cool. I'm very excited about this bass. Now let's hear it in a song.